had the most comments along with it. And most of them were just that, were heartfelt too. That patients sharing their stories about how they've worked with their medical professionals and how marijuana has improved their health situation, has improved their life. And so we felt very positive that the bill was going forward, both with the legislators sponsoring the bill, with some of the verbiage that they were giving to us, and then obviously just with the support from the public. We see some polls that came out that showed anywhere between 70 and 80% support for medical marijuana in Wisconsin. Another thing that I personally tried to do is I had a hard time, after that initial blast of media, I had a hard time finding anything more about it. How do I get involved? Where does the bill stand? Who do I got to call to help get this thing encouraged? And I even had some struggles with my own local newspaper, but I found a very effective tool, and I'm getting continuous feedback from this. And it's a tool that all of you guys can do, and you can do it very easily. And it's a simple letter to your editor. Go to your local newspaper, find out what their protocol is, how many words it has to be under, and send it to them, and do it every week. So as people began to read my information in the paper, began to understand what the bill is about, who to contact, we saw the snowball effect. We saw it's okay to say marijuana in public. It's okay to talk about this. The support is out there. The science is out there. I'm not going to be looked down at in my community for this issue. And I did that for a while, and periodically other people would chime in and with their own sound offs unbeknownst to me, and some of them were very, very heartfelt, and some of them were dead right on. That it's unconstitutional to keep therapeutic medicine from people. It does not make sense to prosecute the sick and dying and disabled. And those are simple statements that other people in my community made that made me realize the importance of this issue. December came along, and it was a cold day in December for our public hearing. And it was a brutal day. The patients, had to travel to a foreign city. Madison is a foreign country to some folks in northern Wisconsin, So for them just to brave the elements, to come down to Madison, to find the Capitol was a feat in itself, let alone to sit and endure through hours of other people's testimony, most good, a few bad, but then actually get the courage to sit in front of strangers, surrounded by strangers with cameras on you, telling your story about how marijuana was therapeutic to you. That those people deserve a big thank you. They really do. That was amazing. And a lot of the legislators realized it was amazing. And a lot of them made comments that, wow, Other issues that we have deemed important as legislators have not drawn this type of support, this type of activity from our constituents. So we felt very good that they were going to take us seriously. That not only us seriously, but they were going to take the issues seriously. The public hearing really helped validate that, for me, we were doing the right thing, and also showed us very clearly where the opposition stood, why they felt the way they did, and allowed us to continue that conversation, which is allowing us to educate the opposition. One of the other things that happened to me, steering away from the medical side, was as you become a leader, or as you emerge as a leader in your community, you're able to not only harness and use the momentum from other people, but those other people give you momentum that you didn't even know you had. That there's people that are relying on us to do this for them. And I was appointed to a couple boards from various organizations that are sponsoring this bill, are making the awareness campaign. In January, we had a vigil for our patients who had passed away before they got to
May I
see
have your
this.
attention, please? Would Dexter's father please report to the Children's Information Desk? Dexter's father, please report to the Children's Information Desk.
The patient's vigil that we had was, was something else too, because again, we came together as a group, we came together as a family, and we came together as a state to not only recognize the people who had fallen before us, but we brought in a new breed of supporters again. People who were not using cannabis, who had never used cannabis, but would like the doctors to have the option to use all of the medicines in their arsenal. That they started looking at the fundamentals of healthcare, the rights and wrongs in this country, and those supporters got aboard. Those are powerful supporters because those are people who care about everything. It's not just the medical marijuana issue or cannabis issue. It's the basic fundamentals of our constitutions, the rights and wrongs of this country. So we gained a new set of supporters by just talking about the patients who had fallen before us. One thing that everybody kept telling us, though, is that we need to take this out of Madison. That we understand, the lawmakers are down in Madison, but the constituents aren't. And a lot of this information is not reaching the constituents. So as I began lobbying throughout the various districts, I ran into people every day, patients every day, who use marijuana, who, between them and their doctor or their healthcare professionals, deemed it a good thing to do. And they weren't aware of the bill that was out there. I would come back and visit with them a couple of weeks later and say, did you follow up with your doctor? Yeah, they didn't know the bill was out there. So we said, okay, we need to move out of Madison. So we developed kind of what you see here today, the THC tour, an expo-style event, focusing on the cannabis plant, both the industrial uses of it and the medicinal uses of it. The response that we've got from this tour has been overwhelming. It's been positive. That we've touched so many people in so many different ways that we can't even begin to realize it. And the legislators are telling me that this is a neat thing, because what you just did is you went into a public library with a big green leaf everywhere. You made a lot of noise in your community about marijuana. You told everybody what you were doing. We put on an excellent expo, and we received no negative feedback on it. So they're starting to realize and accept that marijuana is part of our society, that it is beneficial from it, and that they're not going to be voted out of office for voting yes for this. And that they see the potential that this plant has. And they see their communities embracing it, which is something that they had not seen before, because they were just stuck in their hole in Madison. So as we began to lobby these legislators again and again and again down in Madison, we ran into, maybe another problem. And that problem kind of leads us up to where we are today, is we have a situation where our medical bill is before committee. We've had the public hearing on it. We believe in the public. We've shown that the public does support this issue. We also believe that we provided them the logic behind it. We provided them the studies. That everything makes sense that they should do this bill this time. But yet here we sit, 13 days now, probably 12 days left in our legislation cycle, and still we do not have a bill passed. And we wonder why. And we touch on it. There's probably a multitude of different reasons. But one of the reasons that I feel is at least worth touching on today, which is hopefully we can take this information and make some calls to these legislators after this. But it's a situation where we have an election year coming up. And what I'm hearing right now is the committee members are telling me that they don't have enough support on the floor to get the bill passed. So they're saying we don't want to send it to the floor for a vote to fail. But yet when we go around and knock on the legislators' doors and kind of do the head count, we feel that there's a majority of support out there. that we feel the bill